there, comic friends. I'm Travis, and it's new comic book day, or at least new comic book day for me. 5th week of the month, January 31st. So only 10 books this week. Typically, you don't get all the books, because you don't get all the big two. Marvel and DC don't put out a ton of books on the 5th week. Typically, it is annuals, and I think I have one of those. And then a bunch of independent books, I think. I think that's what it pretty much is. Get a drink of my tea here. It's extremely hot. Yes! Let's get right into it. What did I get? More ads for the comic forum. Let's see. First up, I got Animosity, issue number 12. Year. It's only been a year? Really? Only 12 issues. Seems like it's been longer than that. We're still dealing with the whole hive and the farm and all that kind of stuff. So I'm really curious to see how that all plays out. Because of course, man, we've got their own ideals. The insects, you have their own thoughts, and Sandoval and Jesse are kind of stuck in the middle between needing the bees for the whole pollinating thing versus the bees living their own lives, because they're sentient beings now too. So it's interesting. It's super slow. That's the one thing I'd say about the book. It just takes a long time. I think it probably reads better in trade, because you can just sit down and read the whole thing and it won't feel like it's slow. And it's not, when I say it's slow, it's not because it's like late coming out. It's just a very slow story. Cool stuff happens in it, but it feels like sometimes it just takes forever for it to get to that next thing. So Astro City issue number 50. And I hear that this is the last story arc of single issue Astro City. Astro City is going to go to graphic novel form only after this arc is over with. So, yeah, we'll see. I love that cover. That is an awesome cover. All kinds of old stuff going on. So this Astro City has not disappointed lately, and it might be smart that it goes to, I'll miss it monthly, but it might be smart to go to the graphic novel. For a while, that's how I was going to read it. But with the discount comic book deal, I get Vertigo books at 50% off if I just buy all the Vertigo books. So that's how I end up picking it back up in singles again. So anyway, next up we have Detective Comics Annual number 1. I guess that's right. For the whole Rebirth stuff, this will be the annual number 1. And Curse of Clayface. So we are going to get, I think, the origin of Clayface, as it were, or something like that. Yes, the gruesome origin of Batman's foulest foe. So, I don't know. A little too late, I think, giving us a history of Clayface, his origin and stuff, considering what's going on in the main book. It should have been in the main book. I think they should have utilized Clayface better. I am curious, though, to see how they tell this in here, because I was invested in him trying to be a good guy, and they never really gave him much of that, I don't think, in the regular series. So we'll see what that has to say. I am curious about it. I just think it's a little too late to have the real impact. I think if we're supposed to buy into his origin and how he might be a great guy or whatever the case may be, and then we're going to get the what happens in the regular book, the crushing ending that's clearly going on there. So next up, I have a book I'm super excited about, top of my list. This is one of the Berger books. This is the first to be released of the Berger books. Karen Berger, who of course was the person who basically created Vertigo Comics, was there for quite a long time. They got kind of out of the comic book business for a while when DC made the decision to move to Burbank. She chose not to, step down from her role in that. Now she's back at comics, and she has a whole line of books that are going to be coming out from Dark Horse Comics. And this is the first one. And this is Hungry Ghosts. It's written by Anthony Burgess. Or it's Anthony Burden's ideas that I'm not sure on these other people. Vanessa Del Rey, I think, this is a Paul Pope cover, so I'm not sure what Vanessa Del Rey is doing. But it's got Alberto Ponticelli on art, who I'm super stoked. I love Alberto Ponticelli's artwork a lot. Paul Pope cover. This is like an anthology, kind of, well, not an anthology, but it's a ghost stories book that has to do with food because Anthony Bourdain, is that how you say his name? Um, is a chef, and he's like famous for doing the kind of traveling around places, and like he has a show like on CNN or something like that where he goes around and he samples the cuisine of a certain place, but it's not just about the cuisine; it's about everything about it. The only episode of his I've actually watched is one for Memphis, because of course that was Third Man Records, and he hung out with Allison, the lead singer of the Kills and of the Dead Weather and Third Man Records and all that, because I'm on the music end of it, so that's how I ended up coming across it. But I'm really looking forward to checking this book out. I like ghost stories. Paul Pope covers awesome. I'm gonna look inside here. So let's see here. There's 3 stories in here. The stories are from Anthony Bourdain and Joel Rose. So Joel Rose is the person who helps with the writing. And there are 3 stories. Kaidan, which is the Alberto Ponticelli artwork. There is Starving Skeleton with art by Alberto Ponticelli also. And then Pirates, which is art by Vanessa Del Rey, who, of course, is doing Redlands, right? So there's the cover for the next issue. Guy's got like an ogre coming off of his arm, chewing on his sleeve. So I think these also have to do with culturally of certain areas and whatnot too. So yeah, I am really looking forward to checking it out. Get that back in the bag. Get on to the rest of my comics. So, we have the Milk Wars, issue number 1 of the Milk Wars, Justice League of America and Doom Patrol team up. Super excited about this. I like Justice League of America. Always a fan of Doom Patrol, of course. Looking forward to checking this out. Orlando Away, writing on Echo art. Tamara Bonavillain is the colorist on it. So it's got some backup stories. I think it's got a backup story of Elemental Girl in it too, I think, because I see Magdalene Visagalio is on there. So yeah, we're looking forward to checking that out as far as the DC books go. Get into my other bag here. What do we got? Motherlands, issue number 1. This is a Virgo book. I think it's 6 issues, maybe. Cy Spurrier on writing, Stott on art there. Tagging trash and earning cash. Multiversal manhunting with Mama. No idea. Haven't a clue what's going on and what's going to be going on in this book. Clearly strikes me as being some sort of post-apocalyptic-ish kind of a new deal set in the future. Whatever. Woo! There's some nakedness in there. Won't be showing that page. Get her eyes poked out. But yeah, I don't know. Art looks pretty cool. Art looks decent. So we'll be checking that out. No idea what the story's about. Like I said, I get the Vertigo books 50% off. I like most of the Vertigo books, or at least like checking them out. So we'll be checking that out. So Mystic U book 2. Mike Norton on art. Belair on colors, and Whitney on doing the writing, I believe. Bad Romance. Love the cover. Love that cover. This is way thinner than the last issue. I mean, like, way thinner. But if there's no ads in it, it's not square bound. Oh, maybe it's not way thinner. Yeah, no ads in it. So, it's probably 40 pages, I want to guess at. But yeah, should be some good stuff there. Some fun magic stuff. You know, Zatanna and Faust Jr. and some of those characters, all younger. Should be some cool stuff there. Another book I'm looking forward to checking out. So this is IDW's The Black Crown. This is quarterly issue number 2. This is the other Vertigo, big Vertigo editor, her line of books, the Black Crown stuff from IDW, Shelley Bone. So this is kind of an anthology book, a compendium of comics, culture, and cool. Love that cover. So yeah, we'll be checking that out. I like the first one. Kind of touched on little bits and pieces of this kind of Black Crown universe, as it were. Heavier focused on kid lobotomy, but it had some Punk's Not Dead stuff in it and some Assassinistas in there. So curious to see what goes on, what kind of story we have in this, because it kind of ties the world and those other books together in a way. This is kind of the in-between thing. Usually has some kind of hip, cool, hipstery info in the middle of it from Shelley Bond that always amuses me too. So look forward to checking that out. Final issue of Infinity Loop, Nothing But the Truth. I haven't really been, unfortunately, digging this. I like the characters in it. It just doesn't feel like there's much of a story here in this. The original story was really good. It had really great ideas in it, and this one doesn't seem to really cement into anything for me. So that's kind of unfortunate. And finally, my 10th book this week is Samurai Jack. This is Quantum Jack. I'm picking it up, of course, for the Johnson Cadwell art. I don't know how many issues this thing is. I want to say it's 6, but I love that cover. And there's Aku! And each issue, Jack basically wakes up, can't really remember who he is and what he's doing, and he's in some sort of situation. Sometimes he's a luchador, sometimes he's like part of like a Voltron robot or whatever, and he starts to kind of figure out what he's supposed to be doing. He fights some bad guy generally and then gets kind of clonked. He starts to get some memories of being Samurai Jack and then kind of gets clonked on the head, and then you wake up and we get the next story is kind of what it is. And there's our Scotsman with my wee lass! So I love this character, so I will really enjoy reading this. I am sure it's been a lot of fun. I mean, the storyline in itself isn't really heavy, but just the art and the kind of goofy story that it is makes it a fun book. So, yeah, that's it. I plan on there being a comic book roundtable. I believe that both Rez Reeds and Sergeant America, Mike, will both be here, and we'll talk some comics, and maybe somebody else will show up and talk some comics. Anyway, have a great weekend, everybody, and see you Saturday for Comic Book Roundtable.